Today, I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your business and your salon growth. And I want to share with you the four most important numbers that I believe that you need to focus on to make sure you can grow your business. So let's just dive straight in. Let me share my screen. I like to have a few little pages and doodle as I go. So here we go. So the four most important numbers that predict salon profit. That's one thing we want to do here. The key word here is to predict. We don't want our business to be good one week and poor the next and good one week and poor the next, really good and really low. It's just unpredictable and we never know how much money we've got at the end of the month. Sometimes if we have one big week and a few little weeks and one big week, we just don't have enough money. So we want to predict, we want to do things, A, B, C, D. And if we work on these, then money then hopefully will increase. Let's dive in and find out what they are. So who is this for, first of all? This is salon owners with a team. So, if you've got employed team members, this is perfect for you who cannot understand why they are not making any money. So if you've got a busy salon right now and you're not making any money, then listen up. First of all, no matter how busy your salon is, if these four numbers are not stuck to, then you'll always be in the war zone. And like every single week will be a battle to balance the bills and to balance your money. I truly believe, I mean, I was in the war zone for many a year, and the war zone itself is real. It's where you're end of the month, you've got no money, you're scared to discipline your staff members, you're really worried when someone cancels because you needed that money to pay a bill. And it just becomes like every day becomes a fight. If you're in there, you know exactly what I mean. I was in there for my first 7 years of owning a salon. I started making money, which was great. But after that, it just became so hard. And if that's you, you're in the right place. This training is perfect. And when bills are increasing, in a world where bills are going up and up and up, and team members are looking for more money, even going into the renter chair because they want more money, we have to make sure that the salon gets busy and the money is there. I'm a firm believer that when I look at salons, they have to have a pot of money. And this pot has to grow, and that has to grow so you can pay you and you can pay your team and you can do some marketing and maybe you can make some get some help, which is what you're doing. You get a coach and also to have a refit and also to have some beautiful holidays. So you can recharge, of course. So if that's you, listen up, let's dive straight into it. Here are the four elements of, I believe, a successful salon will have. That was too many in one sentence, right? So you will have, first of all, you'll have the profit matrix. And it's a set of numbers that all businesses need to tick. Okay, I'm going to take a cup of tea and pause for a second while you wee yourself from laughing. Right. It's a set of numbers that all businesses need to stick to, and all the important numbers to stay profitable must be adhered to. Like there's certain things in our industry. It's a bit like when I started to cut hair. I had to follow the foundations, I had to follow my guides, and that's how I learned how to cut a bob or to cut long hair or to cut layers or graduated layers. I had to follow a certain path that someone showed me. I couldn't mess. The weight lines had to be where they were. And then once I became qualified, I can then smash it up a little bit and I can slice and I can feather and I can thin out and I can reduce weight. But until then, you got to stick to the foundations. So most of us as salon owners don't know the foundations. So these must be stuck to. Revenue per team member, your team have to be profitable. We are getting to an age where, as you've been doing this for a long time, you probably want a front of house to help you do some of your marketing, to do some of your work. You probably want an apprentice, and they cost money, but they don't bring any money in. So you've got to make sure that your team are earning a certain amount so we can actually make that happen. We've got to look at the average spend per client. It's something that you can fix really quickly and something you need to look at. And of course, the last one, we've got to make sure the clients come back. You've got to know what your retention rate is and how that can happen. So let's dive in and go a little bit deeper with each one. The profit matrix. It's a set of numbers that all businesses need to stick to. Like I said, if your team are not earning 3 times their wage, then it will put pressure on other team members to make the salon money. And that's usually you. You're probably working harder and harder to pay the bills because your team haven't got this fixed yet. And we're going to go through exactly how we can do this. All qualified team members must earn you 3 times what you pay them. I was in Facebook the other day and people calling this old-fashioned. They were going, oh, some people still do this. Yeah, because it's business and business doesn't get old, business doesn't go out of date. Like you have to make sure these numbers are correct, and I'll show you exactly why. You know, for me, if you want a front of house, then you've got to make sure that your apprentice is earning 1 time's wage. You've got to make sure that maybe your front of house is earning their money. But we have to make sure that if you want to fill this pot of money, and we've got team members, they've got to be putting money in here, not taking it out. Because that's the key, is that, that pot can drain, as you well know, very, very fast. So let me dive in and show you what I mean. So this is a typical salon that I tend to, I can't believe my dyslexia is actually going to spell that out. This is a typical salon that I get to see when they come and join me. This might be yours. So the wage bill sits around 50% and their stock spend is 15% plus, sometimes more than that. And the rent sits about 5%, sit about 22%, and then you're left with about 5% profit. Now, some of these, like your bills, are almost there by 1 or 2%, and we can't change. And your rent is very similar. You might find your rent's a bit more expensive, but your bills might be a little bit down a bit more. The ones that we can manipulate are the ones on the top. So your wage bill, spiraling wages are exceeding over half the money you're taking in. Can you imagine you've got a pot of money, which I keep talking about, this pot, and 50% of that pot goes on wages? We don't have much left. Half the pot's gone. And then we've got another little percentage, which is your stock, and then another percentage, which is your bills. And the reality of this is there's not much left for you. Sometimes only 5%. Now that means for every, 100,000 that your salon does, it means that you make £5,000 profit. Now, I believe as a salon owner here in the UK that you should be paying yourself probably around 50,000, twice as much as what you pay your team members. And I think that's fair. It's your gamble, your money, your house on the line, is you putting the extra hours in. Why should you not get paid more? But I'm seeing salon owners at the moment paying themselves less because there's no money left in the pot. It's all gone. Now, if you wanted to pay yourself 50,000 and your wage bill is 50%, that means your salon has to do 1 million turnover for you to earn 50,000. A million. Do you know how many people in the whole of the UK, the whole of Australia, and the whole of the United States get their salons to crack that million? 1%. 1%. Only 5% of the whole hairdressing industry gets to 500,000. So no matter how busy you are, no matter how hard you work, if your wage bill is sitting at 50%, you will never earn enough money to pay yourself a good wage. Now I'm pausing here and I want you to take this in. If your wage bill is 50% plus, you are never going to get your takings big enough to pay yourself a really good wage. You're going to be paying yourself an average wage and you might as well have gone and got a job. And I want to share the difference between what we do when we work with people is we literally get their wage bill to 35%. Now, if you look closely, the rent hasn't changed, the bills haven't changed, but suddenly the profit's gone up because we've took the stock down by only 3%. Not a lot. I mean, myself, I've ran mine at 10% and never went above. But that wage bill is that 15% down, which is what we worked on. Now, to get your wage bill down, there's two things you need to do. First of all, you can take an employee that you don't use and you can sack them. We don't want you to do that, but that's what you could do. You see, if your wage bill is at 50%, you are overstaffed. Too much money is going out and you're not busy enough, which means you don't have enough clients. So what you need to do is you need to increase takings. And to do that, there's going to be 3 ways, which I'll explain exactly how to do that. But if you want to pay yourself a lot of money, you can see with 100,000 now, you can pay yourself 26. So for 200,000, you should be able to pay yourself 52 grand, which I think is acceptable. But you must make sure that these figures are all in alignment. And that's why when we coach people, is our goal is to get that wage bill down. So you must make sure that we must make sure. So that's why we must make sure that wage bill stays at 35%. Because every percent that it creeps up is a percent that comes out of your profit. Let's go on to stage two. Elements of a successful salon business. Revenue per team member. There has to be a number that says your team are doing a good job. I think that why are team members going self-employed? And the reason I think that a lot of people are going self-employed is not because of money. I think because they're going because they think they have a job. And I've always said it for the last 25 years that your team need KK moments. And these KK moments are what I call Kim Kardashian moments. They want Kim Kardashian to come into your salon and request them to do their hair or their nails or their makeup. That's what they want. Bragging rights. It makes them tell the world, I'm that good that Kim Kardashian comes to me. So you've got to ask yourself, what is that KK moment that they can go to their dad, go to their mum, go to their friends, go anywhere and brag that this has just happened? My team on a Saturday when we finished work would high five each other if the salon hit their target. So one of my KK moments was we set targets and the team knew that we were growing. We want to be the biggest and best on the Central Coast. And they knew that as we hit targets, we were going to be the best. They got paid good money. I got paid good money, and they knew that. So your question is, what is it that you can say to your team members, if we do this, that's your KK moment. So we have to set a number. And we believe that for one of them numbers is quite simple. There has to be a number to tell your team members, high five, you've had a brilliant job, you've done really well. And we like that to be 3 times wage. It's a target. So how I work is I set their targets. Let's say we're going to say they need to do 100,000 a year, just for argument's sake. And I'm going to keep this math very, very simple. And that means they've got to do 2,000 a week. Now, I'll explain to them why we need to hit 100,000 a week for them. And it's like, we want to earn 500,000. We want to be the best. And we're going to fly you all to Cannes Film Festival. And when we do that, we're going to celebrate and you're going to get paid bonuses and da da da. And they're going to go, yay. And their Kim Kardashian moment is going to Cannes Film Festival and the salon growing and they get paid more money. And we're now paying more money on training. We've got enough money in the pot to have a refit, etc. And they know that if they hit that 2,000, they're doing their bit. They're doing their bit for it. And that's cool. So we're going to get that number from 3 times their wage. We figure out that if they do 3 times their wage, they're doing their bit, and that's going to be their target or their goal or their KK moment. I want to explain also how 5 times wage is just as bad as 2 times wage. I feel that a superstar, someone who's earning, 5 times what you pay them, and I'll tell you a story in a second about that, is too much. If they're making too much for you, you're taking too much of the slice. You see, if they're taking a third, make it look like a third. Try to think I can do a third there. That's about a third, right? If they're taking a third, it means that you're left with 2/3 because you've got enough to pay the bills and they've got enough. And that balance is brilliant. But if you're taking a fifth and they're only taking, a very small amount, they will think you're being greedy and they'll think it's unfair and they won't get to the camaraderie and working it really well. So you've got to work out what it takes to make this happen. Really simple maths here. So for example, if you're paying someone £500 a week, they've got to make you 1,500. It's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more numbers involved in that, but we'll just keep it nice and simple. So their goal is 1,500. And if they hit that 1,500, you'll give them 500. The salon will get 1,000, and that'll be enough to keep the bills paid and a little bit left for you. And if you do that times 5 staff members, it works out very, very productive. It works out that your salon is making lots of money. But this cannot change. I've seen a salon owner pay themselves 2 times, and we're dealing with it right now, where they now want more money. And he's saying to me, "Hey, Richard, like my team member one wants more money." And I go, "Hold on, she's not even earning 3 times her wage." "Yeah, but she wants some more, otherwise she's going to leave." "But she's not earning a keep." "Yeah, but she wants more money if she leaves." So you are losing money. You are losing money right now. I have someone else that I saw today. They used to earn 5 times, and he thought it was brilliant. I went, "Your team earn you 5 times what you pay them." And yeah, they're great, aren't they? Making loads of money from them. And he had 3 team members doing this, and he was making a lot of money. He was paying them 500 and they were earning 2,500 for him. And do you know what they realized? They thought he was greedy and they all left and he had no one. You need a balance. So that balance, I believe, is 3 times. So if someone starts hitting that 3 times and going over it, we up their average pay that we give them. So you could have someone like one of my dearest clients, she pays 23, £24 an hour for her hairdressers because that's how much they earn. Still 3 times wage, their hourly rate goes up and up. So your revenue per team member, you can look at the cut and blow dry, figure it out. What is it per minute? Can they achieve 3 times wage? That's something you got to look at in your numbers. Can they achieve it? That's something we need to look at. We look at every single cut salon we take over, look at their cut and blow dry price. If they just did cut and blow dries all day, would they do 3 times their wage? Most people would. I want you to remember this. For every 15-minute downtime, it's probably costing you £3.75 lost income. That's based on the minimum wage here in the UK. For every 15-minute gap, you're losing £3.75 in lost income. The math is quite simple. The average bill is 55. Let's blow this up. 6 clients a day is 330 a day. And wages at £15 an hour doing 8-hour day is 120, 36%. See how it's almost there? Very doable. Very, very, very doable. And if your team are doing 2 times wage, your average bill will be 50%. So if your average bill is 50%, it's an equivalent of your team only doing 2 times wage. And that means you need to do something about that because your job is to protect the salon. And your job, remember what your job is? Fill the pot. Fill that pot so there's enough money to share with everyone else. That was number two. Number three. Number three. The average client spend. Your salon takers are made of only two numbers. How many appointments? So you got to imagine people times how many, the people are plus how much they spend. Yep, that's an appointment. And that's it. That's how you make money. So for example, if you've got £1,000 booked in your salon, yep, and you've got yourself 100 people that come in, your average bill is £10. If you've got 5,000 booked in with 100 people, 100 appointments, your average bill is 50. So all you need to figure out is how many people have I got booked in this week? How much is my average spend? And you can predict every Monday how much you've got booked in. And then you can see, is it enough and what do I need to do? There is no point in being a busy fool. So we need to make sure clients pay for their time they use and the staff members, because it's going to cost you, remember, at least £15 an hour for every 60 minutes that's in there, and they need to bring in you at least 45. There's a math that you need to, and you cannot move away from. You can only do so many clients in a day. So you need to make sure that you keep all the bills paid, make profit. You need to earn 3 times productive team members and the average spend. So your job is to look at that spend. It's very important. And I'll give you some really easy math that I think will hopefully get an aha moment. So if you've got 100 clients booked in and your average bill is 50, yeah, you're going to make 5 grand. If you've still got 100 people booked in and you can get that to £55, you're going to make 5,500. Doesn't look a lot. But that extra 500 times 52 weeks is £25,000. So by just upping that by £5, which isn't a lot, you can have an extra 25,000 in your bank account. Now, the cool thing to this is, if any of you have really gone maths crazy, if we got it to £60, that would be an extra £50,000 in your bank account by getting that extra £10. So the question is, how? We can do upsells, we can do treatments, we can do retail, we can do etc. But how? We speak. We hold a conversation. Some of you guys call that a consultation. And we ask what problems you've got. And they go, I've got this, this, and this. And you go, great. And I've got this, and this that will fix it. It's quite simple. You just need to get your team to do good consultations. You need to find out, most clients leave a salon, which I'm moving into in a second, because you haven't done what they wanted to get done. Let's move into the average client spend. Really simple. 100 clients a week, explained all that, how to get your business up. Big difference, 26,000 a year. 100 clients a week, 312,000. See the difference? 50,000 extra. That's the key to this. If you want to make yourself an extra 50 grand, work on that average bill. I'm going to leave this up. Take a picture of it. In fact, don't take a picture of it yet. Let me clear all this mess up. Get obsessed with these numbers. If your average bill's at 50, add 5, add another 5, and add another 5, and see the difference that your business can grow. And then it's like, let's work with your team, book some team meetings, have some huddles. Really, really simple. And how do we do it? We do treatments, we do promotions, we do upsells, we do retail. Like, think about going to a restaurant. I went the other day and I sat with somebody and I said, I'll have bacon and eggs. He went, oh, why don't you try our special? It's if you like eggs. And it was like an extra £6. I went, yeah, no problem. Upsell. Upsell, they got me. I don't mind being upsold to, but I quite like it if they do a good job. But we can just offer retail. Most of your retail at the moment is going down. And most of your retail is saying to you, no one's buying, they're buying on Amazon. Of course they are. Because you're not talking about it, you're not trying to sell it. Here's a little coaching tip. I spoke with a client whose retail is going through her rebooks are going through the roof and her Google's going through the roof. And the reason it is because the team members are asking. That's stage one. They're actually doing something. But stage two, they're doing it when the gown is still on. They're not doing it at the till. And that's making a massive difference. That's your job to figure out what the best place to do it in your business. Treatments. In my salon, what we used to do is all juniors used to ask at the basin. Yeah. And they all asked, every client, and we got a 30% hit rate. That meant that one in, 3 out of 10 people said yes. We charged our treatments at 30 to 50, and that made our salon a lot of money. And there's upsells. Find out what their problem is, like I said, and then just offer a solution. And I can guarantee that most people will take on that solution. It's a bit of work, but for 50 grand, why not do a bit more work? I think your team could. And that's something that when we coach people, it's one of our most important modules we work on, is trying to get you to teach the team because it's awkward, right? It's not as easy. I spent 15 years systemizing my salon to make sure that every single thing was smooth and it just perfectly worked. That's something you've got to work on. Let's move to the last element, returning clients. You might know this as retention, and you must be able to get clients to return. That first one is rebooks, and then your return rate. It's a number that tells you how often clients return. So give an example. If you've got 100 clients and you can get 50 to rebook, whatever happens, you've got 50 people booked in that's going to give you money. Not many are going to cancel, but you've lost 50. And if you guys are using your Salon software for this number, it's telling you the wrong number. I'll give you an example here. If your retention and return rate was what your Salon software says it is, why are you not full? I had this conversation with someone yesterday. Oh, we're 95% full. Really? Why have you got no money then? Oh, what's happening to you? Oh, we shall leave that. Oh, there we go. Why have you got no money? And the reality is you've got no money because you're not 95% full. Look at yours. Look at your retention rate. It makes you feel good, doesn't it? Oh, we're 80%. Oh, retention's 80%. Oh, we're 95% productive. Are you? So what's wrong then? Why isn't your bank account absolutely full? Because something's wrong. And when you talk to them about how many new clients you got, where are you putting them if you are 95% full? Based on a salon that has 5 employees doing 30 clients each week with an average bill of 50, yeah, that's 9,000 a week. So I want to use this as an average, just to get some maths. So I want to use this, picture this, right? So if they're returning every 26 weeks, yeah, this salon would need 4,600, 800 clients. Yeah. If they return in 18 weeks, the same amount of number to make 9 grand, you would need 3,240. If you got your clients to return every 12 weeks, you'd only need 2,160 clients. And if they return every 8 weeks, you would need 1,440, all to still get 90 grand. What this is saying is the longer the clients drag out their appointments, the more individual clients you need to fill your salon. And 4,680 active clients come into your salon is a lot of clients. A lot. And don't forget, this means that this person's only coming 1 time a year. This person every 12 weeks is probably only coming 4 times a year. What we're seeing at the moment is this is about the average right now. 18 weeks. And that's 3 times a year. I paused for a reason because this is shocking. Huge. When the recession was hitting in 2008, I realized that my clients started dragging out their appointments. My average was sitting about 9 weeks and it was extending to about 11 and a half. And that 2.5 weeks was going to cost me $165,000 if I didn't do something about it. So I had to act to get my clients to return. This is a huge hole in your business. This is why you have white spaces. This is why you can't fill your team members to get 3 times their wage because you don't have enough clients. There's a lot of salons out there at the moment, a lot of one-man bands, a lot of things going on. You don't have enough clients. You can't run your business with an average return rate of 26 weeks. It is impossible. Let's put some money into this. If you were that particular salon right now and you started off, and they returned every 12 weeks, it's just where you'd like them to be. 180 clients visit every 12 weeks gives you that 460, still the same numbers. And let's say your client starts dragging out their appointments by 2 weeks. That means you're going to drop from 468, from 9,000 a week, you're going to go to 7,000 a week to 399. Let's say they drop another 2 weeks. That means you're now gone to 6,700 and 351. And let's say you drop another 2 weeks. That means you're now only doing 5,800 and 302. I'm hoping this has an aha moment because if you had a salon that was really busy and now suddenly takings have gone down and you don't know why, the reason is clients are dragging it out. This is 150,000 a year. This is over 50,000 a year. This is 100,000 a year. It's huge. It's something that no one tracks, no one works on except for us. It's very important that we do this. The 4 elements of a successful business. You cannot change these numbers. These numbers are what's making your business grow or they're what's making your business fail. The numbers are still there working in the background, whether you're working on them or not working on them. You either start learning and you work towards it and your business will grow. Your business will start making more money, be more money in the bank account, and your team will be busy, or you'll do nothing about it and people will start emptying that pot of money because they're only earning 2 times wage. Your team members, your salon clients are dragging out their appointments, which will empty the pot. You're paying too much in wages, they'll empty the pot. And your average bill isn't being worked on, so it empties the pot. You get to choose if you want to work on one or all. I'm hoping this brought some clarity for you. I really do. And if you don't know these numbers in your own salon, that's where the stress is coming from. Because you're not knowing why your takings have dropped. And there is a way to increase your takings but you have to work on these numbers. They are really important. They are like the foundation training in your craft. Guys, I want to do a shout out. If you would like some help learning your numbers, building systems around them, then just scan this QR code and book a call with me. If you're on your phone watching this, just DM me, you know how to find me, and let's book a call and let's chat. Let's look at your business because these four numbers are working on your business right now. And you're either working with them and growing your business, or I can't do a down one here, or you're not working on your business and they're actually taking the money and removing the money from the pot. The pot is still there. The numbers are still there. They're either filling the pot or they're emptying the pot. And you get a choice to decide. It's happening regardless. And this is where a lot of salon owners do nothing and the pot just empties. In today's world, we can't do nothing. We have to be active working on our business to grow. Guys, I didn't realize it would take this long. I thought this was going to be a very quick video. I am sorry. I have got about 10 minutes to go and get my breakfast before I start my training today, which I said right in this video. Guys, much love to every single one of you. Don't forget, if you're interested, let's just chat about your business and see if we can work on these four numbers to make a difference this year. Bye for now.